There are two types of Memorial Day. One type of Memorial Day is barbecuing, eating hot dogs and hamburgers, drinking beer and swimming in the pool. And then the other type of Memorial Day is the day where veterans remember the names of those that we've lost along the way. Today, I want to talk about a few of those names and share what I've learned over the years about trauma. So, Ozzie 72 was the call sign of a helicopter, a Blackhawk helicopter in Afghanistan. And I remember I was operations officer in Helmand province when the radio crackled that there was a fallen angel. And a fallen angel is the code word when an aircraft crashes or is shot down. And the radio crackled fallen angel, and they started reading the details about it. Ozzie 72, the grid coordinate, where it was the time, status, all that stuff. And shortly after that, we pulled open the UAV Predator feed on the TV, and I remember looking at this 60-inch TV in front of us, and there, very clear, was a Blackhawk helicopter crashed into the side of a mountain with flames and a huge plume of black smoke coming off of it. And as soon as you saw it, you knew that there were no signs of life, and that most likely at least 4 people, the 2 pilots and the crew chiefs, were dead. Ozzie 72 was a part of the company that I flew with on a daily basis, and so not only did we know that 4 people were dead, but I also knew that those 4 people were part of a company of only about 40 pilots and crew chiefs. So 10% of the people that I knew, flew with, worked with on a regular basis were in a helicopter crash on the side of the mountain. And it was the most difficult day of my military career by far, because not only did I learn that this was happening, but at the same time I had a mission to do. So at the same time, I started going into operations mode, trying to plan how we can recover the bodies, how we're going to get a security team out there, and how we're going to coordinate the down aircraft recovery team. Why do I share all this? Because that experience and what happened after taught me so much about trauma, more than any book could ever teach me. Because, see, after that experience, collectively, we mourned those crew members as a team. And we lost 7 great Americans that day. We lost Warrant Officer Brian Hornsby, Warrant Officer Suresh Kraus, Specialist Luis Galbraith, Specialist Richard Essex, and then from the SEAL team, EOD-1 Sean Carson, SO2 David Warson, and SO2 Patrick Feeks, as well as a group of Afghan commandos. And it was one of the most tragic helicopter crashes in years. I think it may have been the most lives lost in the whole decade of combat before then in a single aircraft crash. But collectively we mourned. Collectively we cried, we hugged, we were on the tarmac when all 7 coffins got loaded onto an aircraft and flown back to the States. We built monuments in their name, and over time, although the wounds and memories were still there, we processed it. We processed it in a healthy way. Now, contrast that to about a month after that, when my wife asked for a divorce, my ex-wife at the time. And it caught me off guard, and it really hurt. It was really painful. It was so painful to the point where when I was in Afghanistan, we used to fly with doors off on the helicopter. We just had our harness, and then right outside was nothing except air. And about 2 days after I found out my ex-wife wanted a divorce, I remember thinking to myself, well, I'm just going to unbuckle. I'm just going to unbuckle and step out, because I'm in so much pain and this isn't fair. and I want other people to feel my pain. I want to inflict on her the same pain that I feel right now. Now, in retrospect, that's such a sick, twisted thought, but at the time, it was just, I don't know, it was just kind of a demon that came up. And fortunately, I didn't give in to those demons. We lose 14 to 40 veterans per day that take their own life. I've lost 6 of my West Point classmates to suicide, as well as some of my own soldiers that have worked for me. That was a difficult time. I felt alone. I felt like I had no one to help me through that. I was halfway around the world from my family. Didn't really want to burden my coworkers or friends in Afghanistan. Didn't really know how to process that, even if I did want to talk with them. And about a month or 2 after that, I found myself alone in Atlanta, divorced, without any community to help me process or deal with the trauma. And when I compare those 2 events in my life, which happened almost at the same time, it taught me that trauma really is processed in a community. And I think so much of what we call PTSD is really due to the lack of community that soldiers and service members have. I mean, how many soldiers go to combat in Afghanistan, Iraq, they see shit like I saw, and then a few months later they move to a new duty station where they have to make new friends and they start working with people that have no concept of the trauma that they are carrying. I moved to Atlanta after my divorce, and all of a sudden I was in graduate school with people that didn't even know how to spell the word army, let alone understand anything that I dealt with in Afghanistan, let alone understood what I was going through with a divorce. In ancient cultures, they used to have these traditions like the Lakota, where when warriors returned from combat, they would have to go through a purification process before they were allowed back into society. And I think that we've kind of lost that. We've lost that understanding that soldiers deserve more, that soldiers deserve to have an integration process other than just going to some basic classes on how to update their LinkedIn profile. They deserve more to help them integrate back into society. And I personally think that that's why we have such high rates of suicide. That's also why I love programs like the Heroic Hearts Project, which help veterans get access to psychedelic medicine and helps them process their PTSD in a community and integrate back into society. I know for me, finding plant medicine and experiencing that has been a tremendous, tremendous help for me. If you have experienced any trauma in your life, or when you experience trauma in the future, because you most likely will, I just encourage you to think about leaning in on your community. And don't try to carry it and process it all alone. Because you can't. You can't. You think you can, you think you're tough, you think that all that shit that happened to you, you can just bottle up and hold inside of you and it'll make you stronger. I'm here to tell you that that is not how trauma works. That bottling that shit up, holding it in your nervous system, almost always leads to destructive patterns and behaviors, whether that's alcohol addiction, suicidal ideation, workaholism, or you take your pick. But you need to process that stuff in a community setting. You need to process it with people that love you. And if there's anything that you're going through, I want you to know that I'm here for you. I'm always happy to hop on a phone call, hop in the chat, help you deal with stuff. If you want to experience plant medicine, that's another beautiful way to help process trauma. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I can't help those service members that are no longer here. but I can help you. And there are other people that love you and other people that want to help you as well.